Hello, I'm Daniel from Nordic Anglers, and in this video I'm going to tell you every single thing you need to know on fly tying tools to be able to start fly tying. We're going to talk about fly tying vises. We're going to talk about all the essential tools. I'm going to show you how each and every one of these works and what is the difference between the different types there is, so you will be able to start fly tying. Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I have a shop called Nordic Anglers where you can find all the different stuff that is in this video. In this video I'm going to show you and guide you through all the different parts of starting with fly tying. So I'm going to show you and tell you everything you need to know about vises, about bobbins, about scissors and all that stuff. So during the course of this video I'm going to take you through all the different parts, and we're going to start out with probably the most important part, the fly tying vise, which is the device you use to hold your hook steady and aligned so it's possible to actually tie the fly. Here I have lined up 4 different fly tying vises of 4 different price categories, and I'm going to tell you the difference between these and why some of these are more expensive than others. If we start out here, we have a very basic fly tying vise. We actually have different fly tying kits that you can buy to get you started with fly tying, and this is part of our what we call the basic starting kit. This vise works like this. It has this arm here, so when you apply pressure here, the jaws open and you can attach the hook. This is a fairly basic vise. So what this does is it holds the hook in place, nice and tidy, but that's basically all it does. It does not have rotation and stuff like that, like the others vises have. So basically this is your standard model for just holding the hook in place. And it does that very, very well. And in its price range, this is without a doubt the best vise you can get. If we take a step up in price and in quality, we get this vise. This is the Den vise, which is originally designed in Denmark. What this has is it has a small screw here, so you can open the jaws, attach the hook, then you tighten the first of these, and then you tighten this. You tighten this. I loosed it for some reason, but now my hook was gone. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. That's how it is in videos, you know. So basically I'm just going to show you again here. There, and then you expand here on the lower part of this vise. You expand the jaws, and this holds the hook very firmly in place. This vise has the option of rotation, so you can actually rotate your fly 360 degrees all around, and you can see the flies from all angles, and this is basically the key element and the key function you get from this vise to this vise. Another thing you can see here and on these 2 vises is that many of these vises, at least this one, and this one, comes with a bobbin arm. This is to ensure that you can actually have your bobbin held out, not your bobby. I don't know what you do with your bobby, but I don't keep mine over my arm. But you can have your bobbin away from the vise. It's not something a feature that I particularly use a lot, but it is an option, and it is something that is included in these vises. The next thing is that on these 2 vises, you'll see they are attached with what is called the C-clamp. The C-clamp is basically something you can use to fasten your vise to tighten it to the table. But on many of these vises, and for these 2 as well, you can buy in addition a base plate like there is on these 2 other vises here. So on most of the vises you have the option of going with the base plate. In some cases you have to buy that extra. In other cases it's included in the box when you buy the vise. Also the jaws here are very good. Actually I had this vise and used this vise for many years. I got this as the parting present, or the present I got from when I was in 7th grade, and I was out for a week. I was out you know, trying to be out into the real life. So I was behind the counter of a local fly shop, and they gave me this because I had only one of these before. So they gave me one of these for me to tie flies as a thank you for the effort gift, I think. So I'm very familiar with this and have been used this for many years when I was younger. Next, if you step it up a bit, you get a vise that overall has better quality and is made from better materials. Something like this is probably the most sold vise we have in the shop. It's the Rensetti Traveler, which is a model of vise that has been on the market for quite a long time, and is as it looks now, probably will look the same way in many years. I have friends who have bought this and have been using this vise for more than 17 years, and it's still going strong. The jaws here are excellent in quality, and that is probably the most important thing, to have jaws that is as strong as possible, so they will not bend and wear down over time. Also, you get the base plate included here, and the rotation of a vise like this is basically just really smooth. The ball bearings inside here are better, and it's an overall upgrade from this one. We have a fly tying kit, a complete fly tying kit that is an upgrade on all parts from this one. We have a fly tying kit for this as well, which again is an upgrade on all the different parts that is in the kit. So you can decide when if you want to start fly tying, you can decide, I would just want to check it out, get the starter kit. I think I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna buy the intermediate kit, and then this is probably the bit more, not advanced, but the one where all the different products in this kit is from a higher quality. Finally, there is a lot of vises from this one up to this one. Rensetti makes a lot of different models. All of them expands a little with regards to the parts here, how they are produced, how they are designed, and also the materials used in those all the way up here. Because fly tying vises, basically, you can pick any vise in any price range that you want, all the way up past $1,000 or 1,000 euros. This vise here is my personal vise, the one I'm tying on now. It's the Rensetti Master in a special edition that is black, and it's around, I think, maybe 1,100 US or 1,100 euros, something like that. And what you get from this to this is basically some bigger jaws, a nicer design, and every single piece of this has been upgraded. But in essence, these two vises are basically the same. In essence. But as with any other thing, I mean, you can buy a car, and then you can buy the car that you want, you know. Or you can buy a phone, or you can buy the phone that you really want. It's the same thing with these vises. And if you look at the price range, then a vise like this, even though it is a lot of money, this is less than the newest iPhone. So, and I don't know how long the newest iPhone is gonna last, but I guarantee you it's not gonna last as long as this one is, because if you buy this one or this one, the only reason you would ever have to upgrade is if you decide to go from this one to one of the models above it, because this will last and last and last and last. So you will only have to change this vise if you get tired of watching, of looking at it, and decide you want something better, because as it is now, it's just really perfect quality. It's made in the US, and Rensetti is, in my opinion at least, the best brand out there for fly tying vises in the entire world. So now we've talked about the different vises and a lot about the different price ranges and stuff like that. Now it's time to move on to the next crucial part of the fly tying, the bobbin. The bobbin has one main function, and that main function is basically it's going to help you to have an extra arm. So when you attach the thread to your hook for tying the fly, which is fairly basic, you just fold the thread behind where you started it. You can leave the bobbin hanging there, and you have both your hands free in order to find all the different materials you want to add on to the hook here to create the fly that you intend to tie. So the basic means of the basic function of the bobbin is to keep the thread here nice and tight. That's also why it has a bit of weight, and that's the basic function. When it comes to the bobbin, then the bobbin is a really crucial part of the fly tying. And you can divide the bobbins into two different categories, basically. And these two categories are the bobbins without a ceramic insert and the bobbins with a ceramic insert. If you have a very straightforward, very standard bobbin like this one, this is the least expensive of the 6. What can happen over time is that you'll get some small metal, I don't know what they're called in English, but some small grates, I think they're called, inside here, and those will cut your thread. So if you are experiencing problems with your thread breaking all the time, then the problem is probably not your thread. The problem is most likely that there is some kind of metal grates here that will cut your thread. So I always urge people to go and buy a ceramic insert bobbin from the beginning, because those will last the longest and you will be most happy with the result in the long run. All of these are with ceramic inserts, and what differentiates these 5 is basically the design and the feel of them and the quality of the material used. This one out here is the least expensive one, or the cheapest one, and it will get the job done, but it does not have the feel of these other ones. The one you see here is a standard Chemco bobbin, and in its price range, then this is without a doubt the best product out there. It's fairly inexpensive, and I think this particular one has been with me for more than 10 years. So because of the ceramic tube here, it does not wear down over time, and you can use it and use it and use it. These 3 out here are all examples of 3 different designs. They're produced in Japan, 2 of them, and this one is designed in Denmark. And what we see is a lot of people like their bobbins, and they like to have different bobbins. So a lot of the designs here are different, and the materials are different, but the basic is the same. They all have the ceramic tubing, which makes them last a long time. So whatever your preferences is, that should be what you base your choice of bobbin on, because all of these will get the job done. These here have paid a bit more attention to the details regarding where the spool is mounted. So these will probably release the thread a bit more even than these 2. But besides that, then it's a matter of personal opinion what you prefer. On the table here, I have lined up 3 different hackle pliers. Hackle plier is a crucial tool in order to make your flies look good. Basically, what these are small clamps that you use to hold the feather while you tie. And here I have 3 different qualities. This one is the cheapest, and also well, the least good of these, or in this case I can say the not very good one. We have a Chemco one that is better because it has some rubber, and it also is more tight in its when it clamps down. So this is a way better tool, and then we have the best one. And I normally joke and say that a lot of people get this first, then they throw this away and buy this one, and then finally they all end up with this one. The CF Design one is just designed to perfection. This is, in my opinion, the best hackle plier ever made, and I dare you to challenge me and for me to try something else, but this one is the best. It is also the most expensive one, but it's where everyone that, you know, ties over time, they end up having 1 or 2 of these. Simply because it holds the hackle so much more firmly, and because when you can rely on your hackle plier to keep your hackles firm and in a good grip and do not cut the hackle stem and stuff like that, you will get better results. You will get less annoyed with a hackle breaking midway, a palmer hackle breaking midway and stuff like that. We don't use any of this in any of our material kits, but we use this one in the 2 cheapest kits, and this in the rest of our fly tying kits, because those 2 are the 2 that I think is the ones that are worth buying, basically. So that was about hackle pliers and the different. Oh, maybe I should show you also that this one has the ring here, makes it easy for the hackle plier to go around your finger when you turn the hackle. And also here, this is it's not spring loaded, but it has something so that if you make a sudden movement, it will have a certain give, so there is a less chance for you to actually break your hackle. Now I want to show you, demonstrate how to use the hackle plier. So basically you have the two jaws of the hackle plier, you open these and then you attach them to the feather. And it's important that when you release the two jaws, then they are attached onto the hackle stem, because it can't latch onto just the hackle fibers. So now it's onto the stem here, and then basically what you do is you turn the hackle, you fold the hackle backwards, and then you use the loop inside the hackle plier to make the turns here a lot more easy. So you can just turn and turn and turn and turn. And this has some weight in its own right, so you can just leave it hanging there, and then you can tie down your hackle here. And you have a perfect hackle. Then hold this off to the side and cut away the rest of the materials that you do not need. So if the hackle plier is of a good quality, it will have fastened securely onto your hackle in whatever situation and whatever hackle you're using. And that's why it's important to have a hackle plier in a decent quality. The next thing we're going to talk about is, of course, the scissors. And scissors are really vital and a crucial part of fly tying. The first thing that's very important to remember is when you buy a proper fly tying scissor, then use that scissor for fly tying only. Because if you use these very fine-tuned instruments for a lot of other things like nails and wire and stuff like that, they will lose their edge. There is a lot of different scissors, and these vary quite a lot in price range. I have something like this, which is a very cheap scissor. It's good for cutting again nails and probably wires and stuff like that. But the thing that differentiates these different scissors are how pointy they are, how close you can get to the actual material, and this is very vital for giving your flies the look that you like. Because if you have a good pair of scissors and you can get all the way down here and close and cut away all the leftover material, it's so much easier to make a good looking body, a good looking head on your fly, and that is really one of the most important elements of the fly tying, is to have some good tools, and a good scissors. A good pair of scissors is definitely important for the finished result, for your finished fly. So as I said, the price ranges quite a lot, and you can get some really expensive scissors up to around 100 euros in that price range. But depending on your need, I would say a good scissor is a scissor you can probably get one for around 40 to 60 euros, something like that. That's it for the price range. When you then look at the different types of scissors, then there is a lot of different scissors for a lot of different requirements. As I said, this really cheap one, which is best suited for the wire, is of course a wire scissor. And then you have something that is more or less specialized. A scissor like this like this black one, has a really fine tip, so you can get insanely close to any material that you use, and this would be in particular very useful for smaller flies, not as well suited for big pike flies and stuff like that. A scissor like this, which is made in a different material, most of the scissors are made in steel, but this one is made of tungsten, and tungsten is a really hard material, and this means you can get a very sharp cutting edge. That will keep its cutting edge for a very long time. But also, since the material is so hard, then if you drop this scissor on the floor, then there is a chance that you might break the tip of a scissor like this. So this is probably the best material to make the scissor from, but it also makes it a bit brittle. So if you have buy a tungsten scissor, take care of the scissor. Do not drop it and just throw it around and stuff like that. Also, if you're cutting really big flies or muddler heads or something like of that sort, then you can get a lot of benefits from a really long scissor. This is really nice for tapering a lot of wings on bigger flies, and basically I think I have a lot of different scissors that I use for different purposes, but overall a scissor like this or like this. We have one of these that is pure black and made from steel, and also in silver. Will do you nicely and can work for almost any purpose that you need, for all general purpose at least. So it is possible to have only one scissor, but over time you will probably, if you find that this fly tying is what you want to do, you'll probably end up owning more than one scissor. For making some nice knots at the end of your fly tying session, at the end of the fly, this tool is the one that is preferred by many. It's the whip finish tool, and when you just look at it, it looks kind of scary and kind of strange. Here are two different versions of these. One is a relatively cheap one, and one has some options where with rotation, and is maybe 8 times as expensive as the other one. This is nice, and it's really good quality steel and stuff like that. But something like this will do fine for many years. This is not a tool that will wear down over time. Basically what you do is you use this tool to create knots, and create a lot of knots at one time. You have the upper hook, and then you have the big lower hook here. You take the upper hook and catch the thread. Then you use you catch the thread with the lower as well, and then you make a turn in the air. So you get a triangle here. With this triangle, you are now able to create a lot of loops. So basically what you want to do is you want to have the triangle. Then you have the triangle all the way down to the hook, and then you turn so the loop stays inside of the triangle all the time. Then you can remove it from the upper hook, and you can pull on the string and then detach it from the lower hook. And now you have made 6 or 7 knots all at once. If we do it with the other tool, with the CF Design one, it's basically the same. We catch it with the top loop, then with the lower one, then we make the triangle, and the triangle is key here. But because this has the rotation, this is more smooth, more easy, and easier to do. Then we release one of the hooks, and then the other of the hooks. And there we go. If over time you get used to doing this, then you can even do this in your hand. So basically, I have the triangle, and then I make all the knots, all the whip finish with just these 2 fingers. So if you want to challenge yourself, try to see if you can pull off the whip finish with only 2 fingers. But it is easier with the tool, and something like this is inexpensive and just works and works and works. So, there is a few more very vital fly tying tools that I'm going to show you now, and these are kind of linked together, so I'm going to show you all of them. The first thing I'm going to show you is the dubbing twister, or the dubbing reel. Again, there are numerous different variations and different ways that these are functioning, but the core is you have something that can hold a loop of thread open until you are able to place whatever material you need, and then you can spin it to make a stronger body with a lot of material sticking out in all directions. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to double my thread. I'm going to tie down the doubled thread, so I have kind of like a big loop here, the dubbing loop. Then I'm going to take my thread and move it all the way around the base of this one time, and now I have this open loop here. Then I'm going to take my primary tying thread and move it up towards the head. Because now I have this loop, I can now add a lot of different materials. I can mostly people use this for dubbing, but you can use this for feathers and for hairs and stuff, and a lot of different things. You can make some really nice rabbit hair hackles and a lot of things. But so this technique here is really vital. I simply place the dubbing inside the loop like this, and then I fold down with my other hand. Then I take one of my reels here, my dubbing twisters. I add this to the loop. So now it's hanging there, and then I make this spin. This in turn will make the entire dubbing loop here twist on itself, locking the materials in place and making sure they are fastened and that this is really strong. Now I have a bit too much material in this one for my liking, so I just simply remove a bit of this in order to make this stronger. Now I can really make this go once more. And now I have, kind of a really nice way of making a dubbing body or whatever. Then I simply turn this all the way up the hook shank here. This is just to show you. This is not gonna be an actual fly, you know. But this is one of the best ways of making a very nice dubbing bodies that will have a lot of texture and will look raggy and shaggy, I think you could say. I don't know, maybe. Then I tie down the end of the dubbing loop here. And now I have a nice, very strong dubbing body for my hook now. But what I want this to stand a bit more out. And then you can take one of these other tools that are called dubbing teasers. And what they basically do is they can be used to brush your body and make it pull on some of the dubbing here. Oh. I didn't fasten this correctly. I didn't use enough thread up there to... Should we redo this, Stefan? No, I can save this. This is just for instructional value, like this. So what I was saying is that I use this teaser here to pull out some of the dubbing to give this body here a more shaggy look. And again, this tool is really nice. You can also use another thing, which is the needle that you will also use for applying varnish to your head, or even a dubbing hook here, to pull out if you have some dubbing or some feathers that are stuck inside the dubbing or inside the ribbing. You can use this to pull out more of the material to make the body look even more elusive and more transparent for the fish. So, as you can see, I have a lot of different variations of these, and I've used my dubbing needle for UV glue as well, and a lot of different stuff. So this has been with me for quite some time. It's quite mangled, but you know, again, these dubbing needles, you can get some that is fairly inexpensive. You can get some with some really cool design, but in essence, these are the same. So if you want to save money someplace, then do not buy one of the really expensive dubbing needles. Buy something that, you know, doesn't cost that. These are very inexpensive. And then again, CF Design has the pinnacle one, the really awesome stuff. They have one that has combined the needle with the dubbing brush here. This is actually one of the most sold tools we have in the shop. So this is awesome, really good. But again, if you want to save on money, buy two things that are less expensive and use your money, at least initially, on the scissor and the bobbin and the hackle plier instead. So basically that's it for all the different fly tying tools that you need to get started. There is an amazing amount of other stuff that, well, could be very important and could be usable and has a lot of different functions, but for the core of fly tying, then these are the elements that you need. So just to sum up, we have now seen a full video regarding all the different types of tools and scissors and fly tying vices. This was the part 1, and in the part 2 I'm gonna take you through how to use all the simple techniques. So in this beginner's guide part 2, I'm gonna show you exactly how to use a hackle, how to tie in a wing, a tail, and all that sort of stuff. So please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Otherwise, we would be so happy if you would visit our webshop. It's Nordic Anglers. I hope you had enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a comment and let us know if you would like to see more of stuff like this. So, thank you very much for watching, and good luck out on the water.